My name is Maria Kristanti Ahindi. Today, I will talk about fermentation. My presentation is about how to make homemade yogurt. This is for my biology 3 with my instructor, Dr. K. Walters. Do you know that we can make yogurt from yogurt? Yogurt is the byproduct of hungry bacteria that digest the lactose in milk. You can make more yogurt just by feeding the bacteria more milk. Before I tell you how to make homemade yogurt, I will talk a little information about yogurt itself. Yogurt is the product that results from the bacterial fermentation of milk. When you buy yogurt that contains live-active cultures, it means there are still living bacteria present inside. By feeding these bacteria and keeping them at their optimal temperature, they will eat and divide and process the milk into yogurt. These cultures are made up of a general class of bacteria called lactic acid bacteria. The ones used in yogurt making metabolize lactose, a form of a sugar present almost exclusively in milk, for energy, and create lactic acid as a waste product. This acid helps give yogurts its texture and tangy flavor. And milk is made of proteins, carbohydrates in the form of lactose, fat, and water. When you heat it up in the first step, the proteins denature from their tightly coiled state into relaxed chains. The temperature needed for this is too high for many bacteria to survive, so this has the added benefit of sterilizing your milk. The milk is then cooled to the optimal temperature for the yogurt bacteria to undergo metabolism. Adding a lot of acid at once would cause the protein chains to precipitate out of the milk into clumps. But since the bacteria produce lactic acid gradually, proteins gradually turn into solids and gently coagulate into a network of chains. This network is able to trap liquid inside, and the end product is a smooth gel that gets firmer over time. Even though the bacteria divide fairly quickly, it takes several hours for them to work through the entire quantity of milk. Longer fermentation times will yield a tangier and stronger flavored yogurt since more metabolism occurs. Straining the final get result in an even denser yogurt as it physically separates the solid curds from the liquid wheat. The amount of fat in the milk doesn't really participate in this process, but will affect the overall texture and flavor of the final product. For this experiment of making homemade yogurt, I used 1 quart organic milk, 2 tablespoons of yogurt, and please use a yogurt that has only milk and live active cultures as listed ingredients. You can see the pictures here is listed on the ingredients. And I need wooden spoon, pot, stove and oven, glass container with the lids, small bowl, blanket and handkerchief or towels, thermometer. Alright, are you ready to make yogurt? Here are the steps. First, put the pot on the stove. Pour the milk to the pot. Heat the milk over medium heat, and then stir the milk as it heats to make sure it doesn't scald the bottom of the pot. Don't use high heat because it's gonna burn your milk. You will not like it. So you should stir the milk once in a while but often in order to let the air mix with the milk until it comes to the boil. It's about 200 degrees. Once the milk starts boiling, let it boil for another 10 minutes but bring the flame down. Don't forget to keep stirring it once in a while, but more often. After 10 minutes, remove the milk from the stove. Pour the milk inside the container that you want to make the yogurt, and then place a warm and clean blanket on a flat surface and put the container with the milk over the blanket. Leave it about 20 to 25 minutes. Let the milk cool down to 110 to 115 degrees. And then check the heat of the milk. This step is very important. You don't want to mix your culture too early or too late. Again, check the temperature of the milk before mix with the cultures is very important. To be honest, I was not paying attention of this step. I didn't check carefully about the temperature of the milk and I failed. So again, check the heat of the milk is very important. Then mix the culture or the starter or the yogurt. Put 2 tablespoons to the bowl. Remember, your starter has to be room temperature. You don't want to use your starter that you just take it from the refrigerator. You have to make your starter to be room temperature. And also, do not put your starter right away to your milk. Instead, take some milk and put to the bowl of the starter. Beat it until it's smooth and thinner. Again, remember, do not put your starter right away to your milk, but instead, you have to take some milk and put it to the bowl of the starter. Next step is pour all the culture inside the whole milk. Do not overbeat. Couple of stirrs are enough. And remember, only use wooden spoon. And then cover the whole milk. Place a clean towel or handkerchief on the top of the container and then put the lid and carefully wrap the blanket all over the container. And then prepare the oven. Heat it up about 115 degrees and turn it off. Then put the container that you already wrapped with the blanket inside the oven for 4.5 hours. So again, for 4 hours and a half. And then after 4.5 hours, remove from the oven and unwrap the blanket. Then remove the lid, also the towel or handkerchief, and leave for another half an hour. After that, transfer the yogurt to the fridge for at least 24 hours, so it will further set. The longer is better. And then, ta-da! Ready to eat. Here's the result, ready to eat. You can see how smooth and creamy. This because we use whole milk. The whole milk gives a lot of richness and thickness. So you can see here, again, how smooth and creamy. And look at him. He's ready to eat. And he did finish half of it. This slide is just about the steps that I mentioned earlier, just in case you missed some steps of how to make homemade yogurt. So here are the steps. To conclude this experiment, store-bought yogurt oven contains these species: Streptococcus thermophilus, Lactobacillus delbrueckii subs, Bulgaricus, Lactobacillus acidophilus, Bifidobacterium, and Lactobacillus casei. I'm sorry for wrong pronunciation for all these strangers' names. The first two are the main yogurt makers and work in synergy to digest lactose and produce lactic acid. They work so well together because they each make a waste product that the other uses for metabolism and are both thermophilic, which survive at relatively high temperatures. Bacteria that grow best at 105 to 113 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 to 45 degrees Celsius, and the other three strains work better at temperatures closer to the human body temperature of 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit or 37 degrees Celsius. They are often added as probiotics since they are already present in different parts of your body. As the temperature and pH of the yogurt changes, different species are able to metabolize at better or worse rates, and the end result is a unique flavor profile of everyone's wish. In general, these bacteria come in two main shapes, with the lactobacillus having an oblong rod shape and the streptococcus, which is Greek for twisted belly, like little spheres. After they divide, they can still be attached to each other. They sometimes look like beads in a shape. Before I finish this presentation, here are some tips to have a good yogurt. 1. Use unpasteurized milk if you know a trusted farmer. Otherwise, use organic full-fat fresh milk or the whole milk. Second, never use any metal spoon, especially when you want to mix the culture with your milk. It's better to use wooden spoon at all stages. Third, to make best yogurt, the yogurt should not shake and move until it's done. The fourth, the culture of yogurt must be at room temperature. Fifth, do not pour the yogurt directly inside the milk. Instead, pour some of your milk inside to your starter of culture and beat it and make it thinner. Lastly, after adding culture, do not overbeat the milk. Thank you for watching and listening. I hope you enjoyed this presentation and you able to make yogurt as I did.